Internet is that
massive computer
right,
network.
one that's becoming really big now.
What do you mean that's big? How does one, what do you write to it like mail?
No, a lot of people use it and communicate. I guess they can communicate with NBC writers and producers. Allison, can you explain what internet is?
Clearly, the audio you just heard wasn't from today or even 20 years ago. It's hard to believe, but there was a time when the internet was a small niche. The average person had no idea how it would eventually become an all-consuming force in our modern society. The internet and computers are now essential, but 20 to 30 years ago, things were very different. Some had an inkling of the internet's potential, while others remained skeptical. I bring this up because although history may not repeat itself, it often rhymes. Humanity is on the verge of another significant change. And despite AI dominating your newsfeed for the past 6 months, many people fail to grasp the magnitude of how our lives are about to be transformed in the near future. Geoffrey Hinton is known as one of the godfathers of artificial intelligence. He was instrumental in building Google's AI models and programs, and he has also mentored some of the industry's rising stars, including the chief scientist of OpenAI. When he was asked about the significance of where artificial intelligence is today, these are the words that he had to say.
This is the biggest technological advancement since...
I think it's comparable in scale with the Industrial Revolution or electricity.
Electricity,
Or maybe the wheel.
Or maybe the wheel.
What's mind-boggling is that Mr. Hinton is only referring to one technological breakthrough, artificial intelligence. But there is another technological force that is magnitudes more powerful than just that. Many refer to it as the singularity. Here's another AI researcher, Ben Goertzel, to give you a better idea as to what I mean.
The basic concept of the technological singularity is a point in time when technological advance occurs so rapidly that to the human mind it appears almost instantaneous. Yeah. Imagine 10 new Nobel Prize-winning discoveries every second or something, right?
Clearly, the paradigm that Dr. Goertzel is referring to, the singularity, is not the one that we see on our news feeds every day. It goes way deeper than that. Way deeper.
But it's not just about AI. AI is just probably the most powerful technology driving it. There's AI, there's nanotechnology, there's femtotechnology, which will be building things from elementary particles. And there's life extension, genetic engineering, mind uploading, which is like reading the mind out of your brain and putting it into a machine.
Welcome to the first episode of Artificially Aware, where we spotlight the most significant trends in technology and how they will impact the world that we all live in. I'm your host, Abraham Waldenberg, and in this special series, we're going to focus on 3 core segments over 3 episodes. Those segments are the singularity, how GPT is transforming various aspects of our lives, and why the fight to regulate and control AI is the most pressing issue on Earth. You're going to hear from some of the most knowledgeable and respected experts and entrepreneurs in their fields. They're going to guide you through what they believe the world is going to look like in the near future. All with the goal to help you prepare for the impending revolution, the artificial revolution. To kick off our journey, let's hear from Mike Maples Jr., a renowned Silicon Valley investor and founding partner of Floodgate. He is celebrated for his ability to identify and support high-growth, game-changing companies at an early stage. The key takeaway here is how we can leverage future trends and advancements in tech to build the right solutions that people are going to need in the future instead of right now. Here's Mike Maples.
There's this thing that I say to founders, which is very counterintuitive. I say, if you want to start a great startup, don't try to think of a startup. And the reason for that is that great startup founders are like time travelers, and they get out of the present and they visualize different futures that are breakthrough, that break free from the present. And when you try to think of a startup right now, you tend to orient yourself in the world of the present. And so you tend to come up with incremental, conventional ideas rather than breakthrough ideas that sort of change the arc of the present to a different future. So what I encourage founders to think about are, what are the inflections? What are the waves of change? They're going to be so massive that it's going to allow an entrepreneur to change the subject about the future. Because on some level, these waves are the gathering power. It's like all the power of the ocean when you surf. you got to catch the right wave to have a chance to do great things. And these waves or these inflections, they allow the entrepreneur to wage asymmetric warfare on the present.
Well, now we know that in order to succeed, you must wage asymmetric warfare towards the present. We're going to go back to Dr. Gertzel to hear more about how others are waging asymmetric warfare towards the present.
All these different things are expected to advance at around the same time, and they have many ways to boost each other, right? Because the better AI you have, your AI can then invent new ways of doing nanotech and biology. But if you invent amazing new nanotech and quantum computing, that could make your AI smarter. On the other hand, if you could crack how the human brain works and genetic engineering to upgrade human intelligence, those smarter humans could then make better AIs and nanotechnology, right? So there's so many virtuous cycles among these different technologies. The more you advance in any of them, the more you're going to advance in all of them. And it's the coming together of all of these that's going to create radical abundance and the technological singularity.
Look, I hear you. To me, this future also sounds freakishly scary. It resembles almost nothing of the world we live in today. How will we be able to adapt as humans, and what will the repercussions be? Well, if only we had a crystal ball and could tell the future. If you enjoyed this first special episode of Artificially Aware, please stick around for the next one. This is A.B. Woldenberg, your host, and I'll see you on the flip side.
This is going to be the future, and it's worth going home, signing into ChatGPT, open an account, and experiment for 20, 30, 40 minutes, and impress your grandchildren. Like, they'll think you're so cool for doing this. It is the fastest growing consumer application in the history of the internet.
Welcome to Artificially Aware's second special episode. In the first episode, we explored the singularity, a hypothetical point in the future where the rapid advancements of technologies, particularly artificial intelligence, leads to an unprecedented acceleration of innovation and transformative change. At this juncture, AI systems would surpass human intelligence and continue to improve themselves autonomously. This cycle of self-improvement would trigger a cascade effect, resulting in technological breakthroughs that are beyond our current comprehension, ultimately altering the course of human civilization and blurring the line between humanity and machines. To orient us back to the present, here's Jason Kilcanis, a highly regarded founder, investor in Uber and Robinhood, and host of the second biggest tech podcast in the country, All In with Chamath, Jason, Sachs, and Friedberg.
You're going to see entire categories of jobs go away. We've seen this before. Phone operators, travel agents, copy editors, illustrators, logo designers, accountants, sales development reps. I'm seeing a lot of these job functions in the modern world, like phone operators previously. I think these could wholesale just go away, and they would just be done by AI, and I think it's going to happen in a very short period of time.
In episode number 2, we'll delve into why the singularity is more than just theory, and how ChatGPT could be the first step toward its realization. We'll examine how GPT and large language models are revolutionizing knowledge, productivity, and most importantly, the world of work. We'll discuss the industries being affected and provide insights on how you can stay ahead by learning the necessary tools. It's kind of unsurprising that AI is a hot topic these days. We constantly hear about it, but the reality is that even though we all know this breakthrough technology exists and we have the opportunity to even use it, not enough people are investing enough time to fully harness its potential. It's like we discovered computers and we became content with just using the word processor, never bothering to develop other applications like Uber or Instagram or Facebook. AI and ChatGPT can be used to do literally anything. Not to say that you have to use it for everything, but it could be used to optimize anything from grocery lists to planning vacations to organizing company data based on any parameters. You can even code entire web applications. There's no doubt that AI is going to replace some jobs. The real question is whether you'll be proactive enough to prevent it from taking yours. On April 15, 2023, Jason Kilcanis tweeted, and I quote, "AI is going to nuke the bottom third of performers and jobs done on computers, even the creative ones, in the next 24 months. White-collar salaries are going to plummet to the average of the global workforce, and the speed at which top performers can write prompts. If you're low to average at your job, you need to get on these tools immediately. learn how to augment yourself, and invest massively in your ability to add new skills constantly. Companies are going to get dramatically smarter, smaller, and more profitable, like Facebook, Twitter, and others have demonstrated. Top performers are already leveraging these tools to increase the distance between themselves and the low performers, and it's getting polarizing. 40 and 50-year-olds who have been coveted performers their entire careers who ignore these tools are going to be retired from the workforce. This isn't about phone operators, farmers, or dishwashers. This is about knowledge workers. Your knowledge has been commoditized. Your ability to be nimble and learn new skills is all that matters. In light of this, on May 1st, in a press release, IBM announced that the company anticipates a temporary halt in hiring for certain positions as approximately 7,800 jobs may be supplanted by artificial intelligence in the near future, according to CEO Arvind Krishna in an interview with Bloomberg News. Krishna further noted that AI and automation technologies have the potential to replace around 30% of roles that do not involve direct interaction with customers within the next 5 years. My purpose here isn't to say I told you so, but it is becoming increasingly clear just how transformative AI will be in our daily lives. Whether the outcome is good or bad isn't for us to determine, as there's not much we can do at this stage. What we can do, however, is stay vigilant in observing how others leverage this technology to their advantage and learn from them. It might be impossible to predict exactly what will happen, but as we learned in the last episode from Mike Maples, we don't necessarily need to predict the future. We merely need to identify inflection points and ride their wave. I believe this generation's inflection point is artificial intelligence. For one example for how others are using this technology in their work, here's Ken Griffin, the CEO of Citadel Capital, on how his company is using ChatGPT in order to make better decisions.
Have you started using it at Citadel?
We are right now trying to negotiate an enterprise-wide license.
Really?
Yes.
For what? What are the ideas you're throwing around?
Everything from helping our developers write better code, to translating software between languages, to analyze various types of information that we analyze in the ordinary course of our business.
Further, when asked about AI's higher order effects, this is what Ken had to say.
This branch of AI will be game-changing for the economy because it will take an enormous amount of work that's done today by people and do it in a distinctly different, highly automated, highly efficient way. And that will have real bearing on our economy. That's going to be a game changer for the economy. And like most changes in technology with clear winners and losers, this branch of technology has real impact on our business.
To harken on Mr. Griffin's point, Chamath Palihapitiya, an outspoken venture capitalist, former top Facebook executive, and the co-host of the All In podcast, had this to say about how big businesses are adapting quickly to this technology.
Tata Consulting Services, Accenture, Cognizant. These are all the folks that do coding for hire work at scale. I think Accenture has 750,000 employees. So the incentive to sort of squeeze OpEx to create better utilization rates, to increase profitability is quite obvious. It always has been. Before the law firms or the accounting firms or any of those folks even try to figure out how to displace white-collar labor, I think it's going to be the coding jobs and it's going to be the coding for hire jobs. They will be the first people to figure out how to use these tools at scale and displace human labor.
Clearly, as Chamath suggests, AI tools are on the verge of enabling engineers to become 5 to 10 times more productive, or even eliminating the need for code developers altogether. In either scenario, this would result in a decline in new hires for these highly sought-after technical positions. Now that we have somewhat of a broad idea for how others are using AI to do better work, it's time to think about your own processes and the things that you do on a regular basis so that you can optimize to make your life better one task at a time. Thank you very much for tuning into the second special episode of Artificially Aware. This is Abraham Waldenberg, your host, and I'll see you on the flip side.
But all regulations start with a perceived danger, and planes fall out of the sky, or food causes botulism.
Yes.
I don't think the average person playing with AI on his iPhone perceives any danger. Can you just roughly explain what you think the dangers might be?
Yeah, so the danger, really, AI is more dangerous than, say, mismanaged aircraft design or production maintenance or bad car production in the sense that it has the potential, however small one may regard that probability, but it is non-trivial. It has the potential of civilizational destruction.
I believe we're all familiar with Elon Musk. He's one of, if not the wealthiest, and one of the most famous individuals on the planet. He's the driving force behind groundbreaking ventures like SpaceX and Tesla that revolutionized space travel and electric cars. With that being said, when he warns of potential risks to civilization itself, it's not something to be taken lightly. In relevant news this week, the godfather of artificial intelligence, Geoffrey Hinton, who was featured on episode 1, resigned from his position running Google's AI program. According to a breaking report from the New York Times, Hinton left his job so that he could openly discuss the risks of AI without any constraints. And he even expressed that part of him regretted his entire life's work. Geoffrey's resignation comes amid a growing backlash against AI researchers and developers, urging them to slow down their research before creating technology that may spiral out of control. We will discuss more about Geoffrey's resignation and the overall backlash in a moment. In today's episode number 3, Skin vs. Silicone, we will delve into the potential risks that emerge as AI systems become more powerful, intelligent, and efficient. We're already aware that the world is going to undergo massive changes, but there are some challenges that can only be overcome if humanity unites and works as one cohesive unit. Surprisingly, we're witnessing humanity choosing sides in a way that seemed once unimaginable. And it might sound absurd, but it's actually happening. Here's an excerpt from Elon Musk talking about one of his encounters with the founder of Google, Larry Page.
You know, we're going to make sure humanity's okay here. And then he called me a speciesist.
Did he use that term?
Yes. And there were witnesses. I wasn't the only one there when he called me a speciesist. And so I was like, okay, that's it. Yes, I'm a speciesist. Okay, you got me. What are you? Yeah, I'm fully a speciesist. Busted. That was the last straw.
Regarding the battle to control AI, in March 2023, a public letter was released calling for the halting of all research on AI models more powerful than GPT-4 for the next 6 months, in order to avoid, and I quote, profound risks to society and humanity. This letter has since been signed by more than 27,500 individuals, including Elon Musk, Steve Wozniak, and Tristan Harris of the Center for Humane Technology. An excerpt from the letter reads, "Contemporary AI systems are now becoming human competitive at general tasks, and we must ask ourselves, should we let machines flood our information channels with propaganda and untruth? Should we automate away all the jobs, including the fulfilling ones? Should we develop non-human minds that might eventually outnumber, outsmart, obsolete, and replace us? Should we risk loss of control of our civilization? Such decisions must not be delegated to unelected tech leaders. Powerful AI systems should be developed only once we are confident that their effects will be positive and their risks will be manageable." Here's Elon Musk on some of the potential risks and ways that a future like this could unfortunately transpire.
There's movies like Terminator, but it wouldn't quite happen like Terminator because the intelligence would be in the data centers.
Right.
The robot's just the end effector. But I think perhaps what you may be alluding to here is that regulations are really only put into effect after something terrible has happened.
That's correct.
If that's the case for AI, and we're only putting regulations after something terrible has happened, it may be too late to actually put the regulations in place. The AI may be in control at that point.
You think that's real? It is conceivable that AI could take control and reach a point where you couldn't turn it off and it would be making the decisions for people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
No, that's definitely where things are headed, for sure.
Look, everyone, we can't blame people who are using ChatGPT. It's not their fault.
Well, whose fault is it?
I'll tell you who. It's the giant tech companies who took OpenAI, packaged it, monetized it, and pushed it out to all of us as fast as they could in order to get ahead. OpenAI is so powerful that it has to be something that everyone can use, control, and contribute to. Or else AI will be controlled by corporations who just want an unfair advantage like Cartman does. Ah! Screw you, you dumb Jew! We don't want big corporations deciding what's ethical and acceptable for AI. We were all taken advantage of, and that's why my girlfriend would totally understand that I used ChatGPT to respond to her texts.
That's right.
While the South Park audio clip was intended for laughs, it does shed light on the potential for AI models, especially OpenAI's, to exploit their creations for profit. Here's the story of its origin, from one of the co-founders himself.
Things like say ChatGPT, which is based on GPT-4 from OpenAI, which is a company that I played a critical role in creating, unfortunately.
Back when it was a nonprofit?
Yes. I mean, the reason OpenAI exists at all is that Larry Page and I used to be close friends, and I would stay at his house in Palo Alto, and I would talk to him late into the night about AI safety. And at least my perception was that Larry was not taking AI safety seriously enough. And
what did he say about it?
He really seemed to be one sort of digital superintelligence, basically digital God, if you will, as soon as possible. Google had acquired DeepMind, and so Google and DeepMind together had about 3/4 of all the AI talent in the world. They obviously had a tremendous amount of money and more computers than anyone else. So I'm like, okay, we have a unipolar world here, where there's just one company that has close to a monopoly on AI talent and computers, like scaled computing. And the person who's in charge doesn't seem to care about safety. This is not good. So then I thought, what's the furthest thing from Google would be like a nonprofit that is fully open, because Google was closed for profit. So that's why the open in OpenAI refers to open source, transparency, so people know what's going on.
Yes.
And that we don't want to have like while I'm normally in favor of for-profit, we don't want this to be sort of a profit-maximizing demon from hell.
That's right.
That just never stops.
Right.
Well, on the bright side, at least we now know what side Elon Musk is on. Although it is unfortunate that OpenAI strayed away from being a nonprofit, Elon has since founded a new venture, X.AI, where he is planning to compete head-to-head with the likes of Google, OpenAI, and the field to create an equitable and inclusive system with incentives benefiting the human instead of the machine. Other interesting tidbits from Elon's interview include his perspectives on other ways that AI can be used in harmful ways.
Going with old sayings, the pen is mightier than the sword. If you have a super intelligent AI that is capable of writing incredibly well in a way that is very influential, convincing, and then just constantly figuring out what is more convincing to people over time, and then enter social media, for example, Twitter, but also Facebook and others, and potentially manipulates public opinion in a way that is very bad. How would we even know?
If your head is in a whirlwind, you're not alone. The future is scary and the uncertainty can be paralyzing. However, one thing we can all do, and that you have already started doing, is educating yourself. Yes, the machines are coming for us, but just remember, they will only come for you, only if you let them. It has been an absolute pleasure hosting this special series of Artificially Aware. Please feel free to follow us on YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram so you can get all of the freshest content delivered right to you. My name is Abraham Waldenberg, and it has been an absolute pleasure hosting you on this podcast. I'll see you on the next one. Over and out.